Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new series here on the channel. This is our realistic career mode with Borussia Dortmund on FIFA 22. So welcome along everybody to a brand new series here on FIFA 22. As it has been released, we're here ready to go, and this is our realistic Borussia Dortmund series. So what are we going to do? What are we going to get into in today's episode? Well, I'm going to talk about what we mean by realistic, how the sort of approach will be. We'll talk about the tactics, we'll talk about the transfers, the philosophy, all that good stuff. First, before we get into that though, here is a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. For the foreseeable future, I'm partnering with Aniba. Aniba.com is a new online gaming marketplace which offers over 20,000 digital products such as video games and DLC codes, with the library of products expanding all the time. Aniba looks to provide you the best deals on the market for all of its products, whether they're new or old, and with an excellent Trustpilot score, you can rest assured that your service is safe and secure. Aniba also offers a 24/7 live support service, should you have any concerns or issues with your purchase. Use the code BROMER18 at checkout to get 3% off of all of your purchases. And a massive thank you to Aniba for supporting the channel. So here we go then, we're ready, absolutely buzzing to get on this. For anyone who's new to the channel, thanks for coming along. For all of you who have already been subscribed to the channel, you'll know that we have done FIFA Career Mode series in the past, but on FIFA 21 we actually left it out because I'd really sort of got out of the loop with Career Mode. I didn't enjoy the training, which of course they haven't changed, but never mind, we'll have to deal with that. And so we didn't do one last year, but over the past with the Ajax and AC Milan series, they've been very successful. So this is one that I'm really looking forward to. So first things first, as we've spoken about, what do I mean by a realistic Borussia Dortmund career mode? Well, we talk about all things when it comes to that. First off, the tactics. We like to use tactics that are sort of reminiscent and sort of replicate what they try to do in real life. So in this case, of course, Marco also, who you can see, of course, I've tried to recreate as best as I could in the game. We're going to use tactics that are sort of inspired by his, not necessarily replicating his completely, but a similar style to what he would employ. And it's the same with the sort of philosophy as well. We know what Dortmund do. They like to breed through young players, they like to scout them or develop them from their own academy, bring them up, give them those opportunities in the team. We also know that when it comes to transfers, Dortmund are very much not going to go out and spend 150 million on a Neymar, or 250 million as it would probably be. We know they're not going to do that. They're not going to go and break transfer records. They want to be intelligent with their transfer business. They want to be really pragmatic, I guess is a good way to put it. So we have to bear that in mind as well. We're not going to go out and spend loads and loads of money. We're going to be very clever with our business. We're going to try and play in a way that is as realistic as possible, and we're also going to look to the likes of Borussia Dortmund 2, their youth team, which of course is in the game because they do play in the third tier of the German football, the Bundesliga Drei, or free, as we know it as. So we'll look to buy players from them as well and promote them if and when we need to. Talking about transfers as well, in terms of keeping it realistic, we know that Dortmund very rarely are able to hold on to their best players and their youngest prospects. A lot of the time they will be sold. No more significant than one Erling Haaland. If we have a quick look, go onto the squad hub here, and we'll really have a quick look at him. So when I announced that we were doing the series, he did sort of come up. He did come up in topic, and people were saying, you know, what are you going to do with him? You know, are you going to look to sell him? Well, it's obvious that he's stopping there this season. We all know that, of course. They managed to keep hold of him, but there's talk about a release clause, how he might move on next season. So the way we're going to do it is, if we do happen in the second season to get an offer for Haaland that is substantial, that we believe is realistic and obtainable, then perhaps we will look to sell him on. And the same goes for a lot of players, really. You know, like Jude Bellingham, I don't anticipate him being sold in the next couple of years. I think he'll really you know, groom himself and improve a bit like Jadon Sancho did before he eventually moved on in his 20s to Manchester United. So we'll look at it in that sort of way as well. But in terms of Erling Haaland, you know, no one is unsellable. Everyone has their price, and we will, you know, fairly reflect that in this save. In terms of the settings that we're doing on this game, here are the settings, what we've gone with. Obviously, we've disabled the transfer window in the first season, or in the first transfer window, because naturally it's already been and gone. So I don't really want to be looking to add to that. We need to be able to go with what we've got squad-wise, you know, not trying to recoup funds either. Went with strict negotiating, you know, because I think that's very important to try and get that more realistic representation, and of course ultimate difficulty as well. We'll see how that one plays out. So what do I have in store for you on this episode today? Well, we're not actually going to play a game, unfortunately, because the reason why is that I've got so much to do and talk to you guys about that I really want to set the tone. We're not really going to have the time for it, but I'll talk about how the structure of these videos will go very, very shortly. But in terms of this video today, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you through my tactics and show you what we've got going there. You'll see we've already got a couple of different lineups. We'll go through the training as well, in terms of not the actual training days, but the development and what I'm doing on each player to sort of develop them. We'll have a quick look at the objectives as well, which is an absolute farce, to be honest with you, and we'll talk about the scouting as well and anything along those lines. In terms of the structure for the series, what can you expect from episode to episode in terms of games and what we're showing? Well, usually what I'll do is I will do a live commentary of one game each episode, and then we'll have post-com highlights of a few other games, you know, a real cluster of games. So if we have a look here, let's say for the next episode, for example episode 2, we'll probably have a live com of that Bayern Munich game, which is of course in the Super Cup, and then we'll have post-com quicker highlights of all these games here against Frankfurt, Freiburg, Hoffenheim, and then we'll go into the next campaign as well. We'll have Leverkusen, maybe Sporting Lisbon as well, and then we'll see what happens with sort of Union Berlin and Borussia Mönchengladbach as well. So generally it's going to be one live commentary game, unless there is a cluster of games, big games together, which is going to happen really later on in the season. Then we might have 2 live games in an episode. So for example there, you see we've got Bayern Munich and then Ajax 2 days later, and that's in December. So that could be very, very crucial. So in that episode you might see 2 live cons, but generally it's going to be one live con and then a lot of post-com highlights. So then let me talk to you about the tactics first and foremost. For any subscribers to the channel, you'll know we are massive on tactics. We do lots of videos each year, and I will be doing it this year as well, recreating and replicating real tactics in game with each team. So we do Guardiola's Man City, Nagelsmann's Bayern Munich, Klopp's Liverpool, Tuchel's Chelsea. We just cover a whole range of teams, so we're very, very big into tactics. And as you'll see, these are the 2 systems we've got. They're sort of similar. There's a sort of a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, and also a 3-4-3 as well. Now, in the beginning of the season, Marco Rose has really played sort of a narrow diamond, a 4-4-2 with a narrow midfield diamond. He has sometimes gone for a 3-back as well. Now, I actually hate midfield diamonds. I hate those narrow, really narrow formations, particularly that 4-back. Just don't like it. Don't like it on FIFA. I don't like it in real life. Don't think it gives you enough width. Don't think it has the right balance either. So what we try to do is we try to take the principles of Marco Rose and just put it into a tactic, or a formation I should say, that is a little bit better for me, and will give you a bit better gameplay as well. So we've stuck with that sort of, you know, trying to crowd out the midfield, crowd out the central area, just one on each side. But really now we've got wing backs and we've got a 3 at the back as well. So we've got this 3-4-1-2 and the 3-4-3. This 3-4-1-2, you might be surprised, because it's got 2 strikers, you'll think that's more of the attacking formation, but actually that is more of the counter-attacking system. Let's say we're playing against Bayern, I expect the likes of you know, Haaland and Marlon to be able to utilise their pace to run in behind, drift wide, you know, and just sort of utilise and exploit the spaces. Whereas with this one, this 3-4-3, this is more about playing against teams who are playing with low blocks, very compact, very rigid defensive shapes, because that's going to allow you to build up more because you've got more options in that midfield area. This is more replicated on the likes of Tuchel's Chelsea, for example. And both tactics really very reminiscent of what we see from a Marco Rose Borussia Dortmund team so far. We've got that counter-pressing system that we see so often, in German coaching, that German philosophy. Very, very good indeed. We've got generally a high line as well. In this one, it's 90. In the other one, it's about 70. So still a high line, but gives you a little bit of leeway there. And then we've got, in terms of the offense, slow build-up, which is going to allow you to play out from the back, but then in chance creation, it's forward runs. So you're going to get that variety between trying to counter-attack and then also playing out from the back as well. You're going to be able to utilise the likes of Haaland and Marlon's pace, etc. You got all the others as well, Royce and all those guys. So you're going to be able to utilise that as well. And I'm not going to go too deep into the instructions here, but very much reminiscent, trying to play into the tactic itself. You'll also notice in terms of positionings, there's some sort of wacky positions. We've got Bellingham as CM, but then Witsel as CDM. This is very much trying to fine-tune it to the players at hand. So with Bellingham, prefer him as a central midfielder rather than a defensive midfielder, because he can just get into those advanced areas a little bit more, very all-rounded, and we want him to be that out-and-out box-to-box midfielder. So just really worth bearing that in mind as well. So I won't go too deeply into this. I'll just really give you a brief overview. Just looking at the development plans for the players. A few of them are unbalanced, particularly some of the older players are unbalanced, but then some of them were trying to train into new positions. So Schultz and Guerrero, obviously, because we're playing those 3-5-2 or the 3-4-3, I've got the wing backs actually set as left and right midfielders to try and replicate that role better. So we are training them in those sort of positions. Other players, it's worth bearing in mind, some of the younger players who I'm really trying to develop. Nandi Collins looks very good, very, very good. I mean, look at that pace for a 17-year-old centre-back is impressive. So, likes of that, we're really trying to develop his defensive side of the game there. Other players such as Giovanni Reina, for example, we're really trying to develop his physical side. Technically, he's very, very good. Needs a little bit of work on the physical, particularly in the stamina area as well. That's something that's very important to me. So, you really see each player's got a development plan that is tailored to them, pretty uniquely. Some players such as Bellingham, for example, you can't do a whole lot really, can you? You just let them get on with it. Same with the likes of Haaland as well, really. We have got sort of things here, but he's not going to do a whole lot. I mean, they're just going to develop into stars, aren't they? If they're not already. So some of them, you really just sort of go with the flow. I also want to quickly point you out to the contract situations as well. So if we have a look here, we've got a couple of players on loan, like Pongrancic, Rainier as well. But then we've got actually a few players who only have 1 year remaining on their deal. In particular, we've got Axel Witsel, got Mats Hummels, Zagadou as well, Schmelzer. So really looking at this here, and I can give you a sort of a look into my thinking. I would like to renew Zagadou, of course, Hummels definitely, and Witsel as well. The two youngsters we are going to actually let go at the end of the season. Don't see them developing into much. And then Schmelzer we are actually going to release as well. And I know that might be a little bit controversial because, of course, he's had a long and pretty incredible career at Dortmund. But the time is right to move him on. He's 33 years old, 71 rated. He just doesn't have that sort of physical upside anymore to play in that position. So we are going to let him go. But these three, Witsel, Hummels and Zagadou as well, these are going to be renewed, hopefully. So we're going to try and get on that during the season and really look to extend their deals. If we have a quick look at the board objectives here, a farce, which is what I've already said. They still haven't fixed this issue. I mean, some of these objectives, sign 3 players from North America. I mean, what is that? Continental success, reach the semi-final, and then want me to win the league title as well. So extremely unrealistic. Hopefully, I don't get the chop from this, because at the end of the day, Dortmund are not expecting to do those things. They would like a title challenge for one, but ultimately you've got to look at the fact that maybe we're not quite ready yet. It's a very young squad generally. You've got a couple of generals in there, such as Hummels and Royce, but generally it's quite a young squad, developing still. And I just, they're not ready yet to put that challenge onto Bayern. So we have to bear that in mind as well. 25 games without defeat in home matches this season is absolutely ridiculous, because you've only got 17 league matches for one at home. Where are the other 8 going to come from? They basically wanted me to go undefeated at home the entire season, in all competitions, Champions League, the Cup. So yeah, that's pretty shocking. So overall, the objective's absolute farce, and hopefully it doesn't, sort of come to bite me in the backside in terms of getting sacked. If you have a quick look at the youth scouts here, of course we're going to place great emphasis on youth development and the academy as well. But also, we're going to try and be realistic, so I only want players who have got 94 potential at the end, and then even then, we might be a little bit scarce with how many we select, just for trying to get realism purposes. We really only want to find a diamond in the rough every so often. We don't want to be picking them out every month and easily getting these 94 potential players. So it's worth bearing that one in mind. I've sent these 3 scouts to Germany, England, and the United States. Germany is obviously an obvious one. England, because of course, recently you've seen German clubs, and in particular Dortmund, really target those sort of young English players, and Dortmund in particular, like the likes of Sancho, the likes of Bellingham, Reina as well. Obviously plays for USA, but he was eligible for England at one point. And then we've also sent one to the USA for the same reason. Again, you've got a lot of players from the USA now starting to go over to Germany, because it's really an untapped market, isn't it? So those are the 3 countries we've chosen, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the results are like. In terms of the actual training schedules, this is what I'm trying to go for now. Bear in mind, obviously, because I didn't play much career mode last season because of the training and how I didn't like it, this is something I'm still really getting to grips with. What I'm really going to go for is I'm actually going to select them manually. So as you can see on my weekly plan, I've got only rest. That's because I'm going to go through each week as it comes and then set the training manually, so I can really base it around the week that we've got in terms of games and scheduling, etc. So at the moment I've got them training really once every 3 days, so we've got that on the 9th, 10th, 11th off, and then 12th back in training again, because I don't want to overdo the training. I don't want to smash their fitness. Also don't want to have to keep doing it because it's an absolute slog, but also you've got to maintain the sharpness at a fine level. So if the sharpness is around 50, I'm okay with that, because then you've got a base level of overall and ratings that I don't have a problem with. So ultimately, that'll be okay. Another quick look at the scouting, but this time on the Global Transfer Network. These are the 6 sort of stat or attributes and things that I'm looking for. We've got 2 on first team quality, 1 for players with only 1 year remaining, and then 5. Same with world class as well. We've got 1 with any contract remaining, and then 1 with only 1 year remaining. And then we've got promising and first team quality and promising as well. Basically, these just allow you to find as wide of a selection as players as possible, and then you can go through those reports and then really start honing in on players. I don't really want to specify into a position. That's never how I've done it. I've always decided to go with this sort of approach. And in terms of scouts, we've got 6, and they're all over the place. We've got most in Europe, and then 1 in the USA as well. So overall, this is a career mode I'm quite looking forward to getting into it. In the next episode, we're going to have this buying game, and then we'll have a few sort of post-com highlights as well of all these games. So that's something I'm really excited for, looking forward to seeing how it plays out. As always, guys, get at me in the comment section. Let me know anything that you want to sort of get at me, any tactics, any signing suggestions, any suggestions for the series overall, things like that. And also let me know who you're starting career modes with. Always really excited and interested to hear what you guys are sort of getting on in terms of FIFA. So do let me know in the comment section. As always, check the links in the description. I've got affiliate links to all of my equipment, my custom build gaming PC parts, my microphone, my capture card, all that good stuff. And also check out Aniba as well, and a massive thank you for them to sponsoring the video. The links to all that are in the description. Use the code BROMA18 and you get a 3% discount on any and all of your purchases. Give me a follow on Twitter. The link to that is also in the description. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so that you get notifications every time I upload a video. Lots of stuff coming for FIFA 22, for PES 21, for eFootball as well. We're going to have all those tactics videos, recreating real systems. We've got lots of career mode videos about the best road to glory teams, the best career mode challenges, the best rebuilding teams, all that good stuff. There's loads of videos already out and more to come. So do go and check all of those out on the channel as well. On that note, we are going to finish the video off there. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope you'll join me for the next episode. And until next time, I'm Brahma18, and I will see you soon.